Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I'm joined by the incredible Paul Houlsby, who is founder and CEO of the Perfume movement, and I cannot wait to tell you guys all about this amazing company. This man right here helps people curate their own luxury perfume scents to actually fit their own personalized personalities and preferred scents. What?
Hey, Sarah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here on the show, Paul. I am ready and waiting to hear all about your amazing story. Please tell me how you got involved in the perfume industry.
Wow. Well, it goes back quite a long way. I think I was always passionate about perfumes from a very early age. Or I would say in the early days, it was the arts in general. And then I sort of discovered France and I really fell in love with the French perfumery industry. And then I undertook a journey. I went to French business school. Then I headed off to work for like Chanel, and I was the spokesperson for Perfume at Chanel at the time, which was very exciting. And it moved on. I have a 30+ year kind of experience. I would say my whole life has been about curating perfume and beauty brands. That's kind of my signature.
That's beautiful. So talk to me a little bit about like the company that you have now, why you started it, and what exactly, like, how does it work? How does one create their own scent?
I know. It's a pretty amazing out there kind of subject. I think if it was easy, the whole world would be doing it. Obviously, today we have like 100,000 different perfumes on the planet. Why would 7 billion people want to shop from so few perfumes out there? You know, when the sense of smell is the most primal and particular sense of the human nature, um, our skins all are different. The pH, the tone, the chemistry of our skins, how we react to scent is very personal. It's not from the head, it's from the heart. So it's something extraordinarily important and personal. And at the moment, my mission is to take people out of one size fits all into this is my personal DNA. This is my sole expression of perfume, not just luxury niche fine fragrance, because my business is about luxury niche perfumes, the highest concentration and the highest quality ingredients. It's not just about the personalization, also kind of wellness, because it take a long time to explain it, but there's certain captives that my business partners, which I can allude to in a moment, have, such as a Moti Boost. And it's actually molecules that affect your well-being. So my perfumes are going to be personalized to you, like 100% unique to you. But for every single one, I'm got the software, the algorithm, the diagnostics will also ask you, how do you want this perfume to make you feel? Is it about wellness? Is it about energy? Is it about cocooning? Is it about clarity? And we basically have different captives, which are molecules, which we will put in the perfume. So that perfume will not just be the best scent for you, as in your fragrance family, but it will also actually vibrate in terms of you as your DNA, your personal identity. So I think it's breakthrough. This kind of mission chose me. I'm my last position. I was CEO of a brand where we're doing a lot of oil mixing. It was all done by hand. And to be honest, the human cannot do that, which is why AI and robotics are part of my company. So it's very much science led, but the experience is going to be very much an emotional one. The science, the technology is the vehicle. The real thing is how we make you feel with this perfume and how you're welcomed into this journey of discovery of your personal identity. I mean, I have digital artists creating, NFTs for each and every one of you, so you're going to basically have, both music, sound, smell, and we're building these wonderful, I call them like luxury suites in a plane, but they're basically essentially loge, which is the term for boxes in the theater. When you go to the theater and you go in a
Ah,
box, but they're called loge because I have a very strong connect with France, and there's this very nice French signature to my brand. So I'm all about artistry and the Frenchness and all of that. And when you're in that booth and you have the visual representation of your perfume, the poetry, your algorithmic name. For example, you could be Les Fleurs Blanches Sarah, which means white flowers, for example, or you could be, you could be Rose, the Roses by Sarah, so it's all about so the experience and the emotion is what it's about. The technology is the vehicle to be precise. And the only reason I can do this today is because I have a privileged partner who is the world's #1 perfume house from Switzerland called Firmenich. These guys are like a 250-year-old company. They're the world's #1. They have more noses. By the way, there's more astronauts than there are noses. A nose, you can't just be a nose. You actually have to achieve a level and get voted and recognized to become a nose. So it's a perfume position where you're creating perfumes. So my lovely, I'm very privileged that this wonderful international fragrance house has basically supported, and we are co-creating this business together. And I can do it because they have 25 years doing algorithms, B2B, like business to business. I'm taking this B2C in a really proper retail immersive concept. So I'm on the right track, but I truly couldn't do it without having the best noses, the best ingredients, the best robotics, the best in neuroscience, psychometrics. I'm probably hopefully not baffling your listeners too much with my technicalities.
No, I love that. You said so many things that I didn't even know existed. Like, who knew that there was like a special trade for like, smelling perfumes, for example? And who knew that you could actually use so much and harness so much cutting edge technology to create your own scent? Like, I had no idea of the kind of
Yeah,
the behind the scenes. Like, you just go to the store and you buy Chanel, you buy Yves Saint Laurent, for example, but you don't
exactly.
think about what happens in the lab, for example,
Yeah,
to create these scents. Now, you've mentioned a lot of really important concepts about kind of sustainability, wellness. You've mentioned
cool.
being able to use AI to develop these scents. What would you feel
Yeah.
has been the biggest challenge in starting this company, and how do you feel you're overcoming it?
I mean, I have a lot of plates to spin, so it's quite complex from that point of view. I have my creative hat, I have my technology hat, I have my, the store design, the customer journey. Product development is a very complex subject. Luckily, I've done decades and decades in that field, so I'm quite privileged in terms of my experience to be able to develop product in the right way. The industry's not at the level when it comes to sustainability. There's a lot of talk, but not a lot of action. And I think that making breakthroughs is never an easy thing, but I am making breakthroughs. I'm not only going to be the first to do this luxury sustainability real-time fragrance development system. That's an absolute given. But I've had to really push the industry to support me with regards to my recycled glass, because I'm using this incredible black glass, which is, I'm actually going to be 70% recycled glass. And I think if you look around and research, nobody's probably exceeded 40. So I'm going to be 70% PCR. It means post-consumer regrind. It means it's recycled glass. We're reusing it. Glass making is a very, very heavy industry. There's a lot of energy used and a lot of pollutants with it. So if I can use recycled glass rather than having it, again, and my manufacturing partner has electric furnaces, not gas furnaces. So pushing the boundaries on the glass, pushing the boundaries on the cap. You probably take this for granted, but when a cap has a magnetic enclosure, that goes into landfill because it's a double material. It's not single material. You can only recycle if you have mono material. So I've basically worked with the same material that Chanel are working with to change their caps from Bakelite, which is formaldehyde. It's like really toxic. So all of those lovely black shiny caps are actually really toxic. So I'm moving from that formaldehyde Bakelite over to a substance called Sulapac. It's a complete vegetal biodegradable substance. But what's wonderful about it, if you make decent thickness of cap, it's quite heavy, so you've got the luxury. People still want luxury. That's the thing. I need luxury, I need sustainability. I need both together. And it really can have very sharp edges, nice embossing, beautiful finishes, etc. So I've pushed the boundaries with that. My formulas are all incredibly clean. My boxes are all recycled paper. vegetal inks, etc. So I'm pushing to actually set something at a very high level. You know, I would say if I'm going to be, between 60 and 80% recyclable, the majority of products out there are probably only 5, 10, 20% maximum, So it is a big deal. It matters to me. I spent 5 years working with the founder of the Body Shop closely, and it was all about social and environmental impact. And this is not just lip service. This is a real something that really matters to me. I have a chief of sustainability who is like the police, and I hired him to be the police, to basically police us to make sure that we reach those standards. So for me, it's extraordinarily important, as is fairness, as in education, because I'm not going to have salespeople. I'm going to have evaluators, which will have done perfumery training, which means they will know how to talk about what are called accords. Accords is a subcomponent of a perfume. Musk, rose accord, leather accord. There's all sorts of accords. So we actually, with our work, we have 60 accords, and the perfumes are made from these beautiful accords, the best out there. But I need people who are, I wish to pay them better than the average. I wish to support them, incentivize them better. I wish to train them better than the average. I wish for these people to really feel they're part of our movement, which is a movement for change, self-expression, people, the planet, personalization, being yourself, not just accepting somebody else has made me this perfume. You have, with the help of science, a perfume has been created for you with your code, which is only yours and yours alone. Of course, you can share it, and we can have, marketing activities where we have a number of opinion leaders and important spokespeople creating their own perfume and happily sharing it with kind of like a community, because I think that's very important, the whole sharing thing. So I'm going to encourage that strongly. And in terms of my sort of target audience, I'm really looking for avant-garde. I'm looking for cultural leaders, artists, sculptors, singers, musicians, artists in the general sense, because I think perfume is very akin to art, and art is very close to my heart, so it really works for me.
It is very rare that I literally am left speechless from how inspired I am by a guest, and I am so grateful that you have taken me through this amazing journey. And my questions are redundant. I think you've just said everything that I would have wanted to hear from you in terms of your experience. I love it so much.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you have such a colorful history, and I love the fact that you have taken the best of your experience to create something that you truly are passionate about. And it really makes me so happy to hear about what you're doing for sustainability. The fact that you're not just creating a company for the sake of profit, but it's also for helping, conserve the environment,
Oh,
which is something the youth
one,
really care about.
you know what, Sarah, the people that have been drawn into our movement, like magnets, have been people that really are akin to my spirit. And I'm therefore very lucky. You build a new business. Of course, I have initial funding, etc., and we're now at a point of proof of our concept, etc. We have all the pieces are all coming together beautifully. But it's the team that I feel so grateful for. They're like the right and left legs holding me up, because it's a very tough thing. I'm doing new stuff. It's very, very hard. And these guys and women and men who are with me have made personal sacrifices to support this journey with me. So I'm hugely grateful to that human factor. Of course, if you share the passion, you share the good and the bad, the highs and the lows, you kind of come in together for this. And I do want to say, because I spent a lot of my career in the Middle East. So I've, back and forwards over roughly 20 years, and being based here for the last 10 years and having built businesses here in the Middle East. We must not underestimate the real knowledge, passion, and authenticity of this region in perfumes. Grasse, the south of France, it's a PR story. Even though there's a lot of real things have happened in Grasse in the south of France, the French people don't buy perfume. Come to the Middle East, then you will see On average, per capita, it's 30 bottles, 100 ml bottles in this region on average. You go to France, it's not even one bottle. You know, so these French are talking like these are leading the way. They're doing a little squish, 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 squish. Here, there is a passion. People use pure oil on their skin. They fragrance their clothes with often 20 sprays at a time, regularly changing throughout the day. There's a level of sophistication and knowledge. This is the connoisseur go-to region for perfumes, which is why my first store is opening in this region early next year. The website, which will be an immersive experience with the digital art and the experience of creating your perfume online, and then it'll be translated into a flagship store. I can't tell you where because it's super, super exciting, but it's also super confidential. But it is the place. If I look from Mars and say, where on this planet is there cultural significance, immersion, AI, sustainability? That is the place that we're starting, and it's going to be very much with many pop-ups and experiences which will go hand in hand with supporting our, you know, our marketing strategy. But can you imagine 30 times the power of Europe in terms of perfume
That's
consumption?
insane. That's actually insane.
People, they need to know that. This region knows about perfumes, and the origins are thousands and thousands of years within this region. And you know, I'm very lucky to have the best perfume house in the world, who are the guys behind the scene that make the odds for everybody. In the Oscars, like there's Oscars for perfume, and Firmenich regularly get like 70% of the Oscars, you know? They basically have the best noses, these guys creating perfumes. Because when you create a perfume, it's like being conducting an orchestra. You have like 2,000 different bottles and lines. They're called lines, different, which is individual ingredients, and you're taking them and you're mixing them, and then you have all the science because it's regulatory, allergens, all this. It's not a simple thing. These guys are real. I call them rock stars, and they're busy building, because I'm going to have machine-generated product, but I'm also going to have my 9-star collections. And those 9-star collections, they need to be the new rock stars in luxury niche perfume. And that's what we're well advanced to achieving. But I guess the advice I would give, if that was going to be a question to listeners, is, you know, you can change things, you can do things differently, and you can, you know, challenge. And of course, there's setbacks. There's a lot of very highly technical subjects where I'm making breakthroughs, and it's really hard. But you just have to keep pushing back and not accepting, you know, the first thing. And you see, these noses are very talented, but they need a brand to really drive them from where that what's our special identity? And that comes from me and the guys around us deciding, well, we want to be known for these, whether it's certain woods and leathers. And, you know, we want to do some interesting play on gourmand, which is the whole edible ingredients. You know, now, I mean, I've got things in front of me now, like I have an incredible smoked cherry, which is just to die for. It's like incense meets cherry notes, which is extraordinary. You know, and I just have the most extraordinary saffron you could ever imagine, you know? And it's just, every day is a challenge. I was in Geneva last week. There was the World Perfumery Congress. Geneva's the home of Firmenich, my partner company. And they did this sensorium, which was an innovation thing, looking ahead for new ingredients. And the real thing that people won't know is the really horrible ingredients combined with very nice smelling ingredients can make the most extraordinary perfumes. You probably know this anyway, because oud, pure oud, doesn't smell great, but with the combinations, it's great. If you take truffles, which are like mushroom from the ground, white truffle, like super concentrated, you go, oh my God, that's revolting. And you layer on top of it other ingredients and it becomes truly magic. So
Very
this
cool.
is the thing. Perfume is not harmony, it's contrasts. You need contrasts of opposites to make something really special.
I love that. Thank you so much, Paul, for like making me want to go and check all my perfumes and see everything that I'm putting on my
Oh,
body and see whether or not I have the perfume for me.
absolutely.
I've learned
Absolutely.
I've learned so much listening to you, Paul. I'm so grateful I had a chance to talk to you on
Really?
my show today. Oh my God, yes, this is way more interesting than anything else I've done in the
Oh,
past like week at least.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to share my passion and convey to people, one size fits all for perfume. Don't accept it. Why? At least layer, at the very least, don't wear one perfume. At least layer three. Then you're going to be having some more unique identity. But out there are some great perfumes, even very expensive ones. But bear in mind, there's 7 billion people competing for that one perfume. So, that's why
Makes
I'm I'm,
sense.
I'm asking to really change the way that people wear perfumes. And I'm well on my way, but I'm not there yet. I'm still looking for new partners, and there's no shortage of offers. But what I'm realizing, because I've been incredibly picky, I worked for 2 years to secure Firmenich, and they were by far the most pedigree and most beautiful company, and they were the best, and they were my first choice. But I had to stand true to my objective, which was tough. And it's the same with regards to other investors. And what I've learned in the hustling journey of building a company is that there has to be something emotional connecting you with that investor. There has to be something where they either have a really incredible emotional connection with your vision, or it's a real win-win in some sort of way. So, sometimes we think we have to scatter a net to absolutely everybody. In reality, having the right mix of people with you is so important, and not too many, not too many.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me on my show today about this incredible industry, and I can't wait to hear all about what's next for the perfume movement.
I shall definitely be in touch, Sarah. And I will be making your perfume, your unique one in several billions. The
I can't
maths,
wait.
60 accords times 60, it's like 100 billion, So it really becomes a lot of different options.
Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Have a great day.